Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's lesson. So I decided that, and it was moved to actually, to start a new series of lessons that is going to focus on the book, The Four Agreements. And I know it's been around for a while, but this week's lesson, I really feel as though is something that's calling me for all of our, for the betterment for our world. And this week's lesson is titled, Be Impeccable with Your Words. So I want you to know that I've chosen 4 scriptures that will speak about this unbreakable universal law. And the first one is 1 John. It is chapter 1, verse 1. And it reads, In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And then we go to verse 14 of the first of 1 John chapter 1. And it reads, And the Word became flesh and lived among us. Our next scripture is from Proverbs 15:4, and it reads, A gentle tongue is a tree of life, but perversiveness in it breaks the spirit. Proverbs 18:20 reads, A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. Have you ever heard the expression, sometimes you have to eat your own words? Well, there you go. Wisdom quotes. Fandal Nawene writes, There is power in every spoken word. Your words can transform your future, and also your words can turn it upside down. Let us use our words carefully. The next quote is from Sigmund Freud, and he writes, Words have a magical power. They either bring the greatest happiness or the deepest despair. And then H. Jackson Brown writes, Never underestimate the power of words to heal and to reconcile relationships. Now, I'm pretty sure that all of you have probably already read the 4 Agreements, but how long has it been? Are you still practicing what the book was suggesting? Just in case you're not, like me, I need a refresher. I thought you did too. So I'm going to give you the titles of the actual 4 agreements, and we'll go into and look at them and decide what can work for us and what can work for you. The first of the agreements is be impeccable with your word. The second one is don't take anything personally. The third, don't make assumptions. And fourth, always do your best. Now, in regards to today's lesson, I know that some of you may say, I've already heard that. My response is, yes, I know. We forget those sometimes, don't we? And we stop practicing what we already know. So, you see, some of us, and for some, we fall back into our old patterns of thought. That keeps creating everything that we don't want. So it does behoove us to be reminded as to what really works and to refresh our minds as well. Now, when you look out into the world, I'm just asking you this. Just take a moment to look out into the world and see what it is that you see. What you see is actually a reflection of your own consciousness. Yes, the outer world exists just as much as your inner perception. Our challenge is to remain balanced and honor both aspects of being. Any reaction that you have to what you see in the world is a response that is created by your current beliefs and concepts. In other words, what you see is a mirror, a reflection of you and the thoughts you hold to be true. Another challenge is that we have as spiritual beings having this human experience is to remember that we, you and me, each of us, contributes to molding and shaping the world we live in, including others as well. And how we mold and shape our world is through the power of our words and the response we have to those words and by the words of others. The law of cause and effect exists. There's no question about it. And we know this, that it exists especially in the spiritual world, and then it is reflected into our experiences. The law of cause and effect states that our thoughts are creative. Thoughts are embedded with the power of creation. For better or worse, they affect our speech, behaviors, and our actions. Our thoughts are seeds planted in the soil of our consciousness. The cultivation of the soil provides the nutrients for the seeds to grow. If the default of the mind is negative, then the thoughts from this space will reflect the negativity in speech, behavior, and actions. They manifest as fear, a sense of lack, disconnected from love, judgments, untrusting, and shame. Such a level of awareness truly has dire effects on your life, your well-being, and those that love you. When the soil of your mind is positive, however, then your thoughts are being planted will manifest to reflect such a reality. They foster greater compassion, an elevated sense of knowing, receiving and giving love, creating happiness, and a sense of peace. This level of awareness witnesses the divine and is open to the greatest good unfolding. Such an awakening can occur at any moment, and every action has an effect, and every action has some sort of reaction. Which brings me to the point of today's lesson. Be impeccable with your words. Now, in the book, The Four Agreements, A Practical Guide to Personal Freedom, author Don Miguel Ruiz writes, the first agreement is the most important one and also the most difficult one to honor. It is so important that with just this first agreement, you will be able to transcend to the level of existence that I call heaven on earth. The first agreement is to be impeccable with your word. It sounds very simple, but it is very, very, very challenging. And when you practice, you will discover just how powerful it is. Now, you may be wondering why your word is so important. Your word is the power that you have to create. Your word is the crafting tool that comes directly from God. Speaking of the creation of the universe, I remind you of the scripture I shared earlier. 1 John 1:1. It says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, was with God, and the Word is God. Through the Word, you express your creative power. It is through your word that you manifest absolutely everything. Your words are the most powerful tool you have been given. The spoken word is a vibrational force. It is the power that you have to express and communicate, to think, and thereby creating the events in your life. For instance, let's just do this real quick. I'm going to have dinner tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm sending that forth. And so at 6 o'clock tonight, something will be sparked in me to make sure that I'm having dinner. Now, I'm going to ask you to do this. I'm going to ask for you to place your hand on your throat. In Unity, we understand that we have different power centers, and the throat, it represents the power of power. So put your hand on your throat, and I invite for you to say, I am. Do you feel any vibration? Do it again. I am. The energy of God vibrates and makes an impression on the universal field of consciousness. The word is not only the words you speak, but also the words you have playing in the background of your mind, which most likely, if you are anything like me, you're not even aware of it. Now, these inner thoughts also hold tremendous power. They create the way in which you interact with everyone. The words you say, both inwardly and outwardly, are like a two-edged sword. Your words can either create the most beautiful, beautiful dream, or your words can destroy everything around you. How your word is received by others will always cause a reaction of some sort. Let me repeat that. How your word is received by others will always cause a reaction of sorts. So don't be surprised if someone reacts to something that you say. You probably have already experienced that, like maybe 1 trillion times. But whether inwardly or outwardly, your word will cause them to react. Since our soul reads vibrations, a response is quickened even faster through the tone in which your words are being spoken. Now, how one receives your words will only access what they already know and will be and only respond from that place within their current level of thinking and believing. There's nothing you can do about that. Now, if your words are misused, you create a living hell for yourself. Been there, done that. And it may even spill out and harm others. And for that, I am so sorry. If your words are impeccable, you can create a life of beauty, love, peace, and heaven right here on earth. So depending upon how the words you either speak or the words that you are holding in your mind and in your heart, that all is within your soul, can either set you free or they can enslave you. Now, your words are like a spell that you cast into the infinite. Remember 1 John 1:14, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us? This scripture does not only apply to the appearance and the call for a manifestation of the man we call Jesus, but it is also a statement of what happens when we use our actual words. That is why our words are associated with the word spelling. When you understand that you are casting a spell with your words, internally and through the power of your voice, you know why it is so important to be impeccable with your words. Now, in his book, The Four Agreements, the author writes, the word is so powerful that one word can change a life or destroy the lives of millions of people. He goes on to write, some years ago, one man in Germany, by the use of his words, manipulated a whole country of the most intelligent people. He led them into a world war with just the power of his words. His words motivated others to commit the most atrocious acts of violence. He activated people's fears with his words, and like a big explosion, there was killing and war all over the world. All over the world, humans destroyed other humans because they were afraid of each other. So, know that when you cast out seeds that evoke fear and words that focus on division and our differences, you are casting a spell that creates more fear and division. And we want you to know that we cast spells all the time through what we call our opinions. Just take a look at Facebook, Twitter, and all the online social platforms. Everything you see there is pretty much a reflection of someone's opinion. Whether you agree with it or not, a spell is being cast. Now, if you agree with it, you add to its energy, and in time will be reflected back to you and others to experience firsthand. So be careful when you agree with a post or agree with a thought that is filled with anger toward anyone or anything. Your agreement empowers the spell, but as with everything, it will come back to you, and in time you will experience what it is like to have others express anger toward you. Now, when I say that, some people will respond by saying, I really don't care what they think. Okay, but that doesn't get you off the hook. Later on, when someone gets angry at them, they usually see themselves as a victim or someone else's anger. Now, what's very few want to admit that they were the ones who cast the spell or added energy into a spell that was being cast in the first place. It is just returning to the person who gave it energy by sending it forth. And it is not only going to come back in an outer way, it also comes back through your thoughts and emotions, which then empowers another cycle that most likely will get played over and over again. And this can go on forever. until you awaken, and you awaken to what you have been doing, and you make a conscious choice to change the energy that you send out. Now, when we are growing up, our parents, siblings, and friends shared their opinions about us. These judgments laid a foundation as to how you believe and now through how you live your life. You see, it's kind of like hooking your attention on what someone says. And the words can enter into your mind, and they can change a whole belief for better or for worse. For instance, when someone says something like, "I think you're ugly," you may pick that opinion up and believe that it is true. In time, you will see yourself as ugly. It does not matter how beautiful you really are if you listen to and believe the spell that they have casted on you. You will base a lot of your life on trying to either prove them wrong, or you will go about living your life trying to be pretty. Now, I want you to realize this, that advertisers know this, and they use your belief in order to get you to purchase a product that promises to rid you of being ugly. Well, that's kind of ugly in itself. Well, we all know that there is nothing in the outer world that would change the way one believes. You see, it's an inside job. Now, here's another example. You may believe that you are stupid, and you have believed this for a very long time, as maybe even as long as you can remember. This agreement can be very tricky, because are causing you to do a lot of things just to ensure that you continue to see yourself as being stupid. Now, you may do something and think to yourself, "Gosh, I wish I were smart, but I must be stupid or I wouldn't have done that." The mind goes in 100 different directions, and we could spend days getting hooked by just that one belief in our own stupidity. Then one day, someone hooks your attention by using the words that let you know that you are not stupid. You believe what that person says and make a new agreement. As a result, you no longer feel or act stupid. Your whole spell is broken just by the power of the word. Conversely, if you believe you are stupid and someone again hooks your attention and says, "Yes, you really are the most stupid person I've ever met," number one, you need to ask yourself why you're hanging around with someone like that. But anyway, the agreement will be reinforced and become even stronger. Now, I'm going to stop here for today. This week's homework, and I really, really, really hope that you will do this. In fact, I'm really asking you to do this. I want you to take some time to listen to what you're saying, both verbally as well as the thoughts that are holding on, that you are playing in your mind. This is what, and ask yourself this really important question. When you realize what you were saying, ask yourself, is this what I want to continue to create in my life? Work on not judging yourself for having said what you said, or the thought that you were holding and playing in your mind. Lately, I found myself saying this a whole lot. "Forgive me, Father, for I did not know what I was doing." Next week, we'll pick up our conversation from here. And if you have any questions about the lesson, please email the church, and I will try to respond the very best that I know how. I will give you the church email address in just a few moments. At this time, I want to thank every one of you for tuning in today. A very special thank you to all of you who continue to support this ministry. Your ongoing prayers and your financial contributions are necessary to keep us operating. If you care to contribute in a financial way, you can send your tithe or your gift to Unity Life Enrichment Center. You can make your check out to Unity, and you can even make your envelope out to Unity. And write 10417 South Orange Blossom Boulevard, Sebring, Florida, 33875. That's 10417 South Orange Blossom Boulevard, Sebring, Florida, 33875. Also, right below this video, Josh has made it possible for you to give online. Now, if you have a prayer request, simply call the office. That's 863-471-1122, and leave a message. Leave your prayer requests there. I want you to know that prayer requests and messages are checked daily. Be assured that your requests will remain confidential. The only ones that will know that you gave a request are the people who are trained within our prayer teams in Silent Unity, who will also be holding you in our hearts for the next 30 days. Now, you may also call Silent Unity if you are in need of one-on-one prayer. Their number is 1-800-669-7729. Call that number, 1-800-669-7729, and you will find that there will be a person on the other end of the phone and will pray with you one-on-one. If you wish, you can also send your prayer request and any comments or questions about the lesson via email. And our email address is unitysebring@gmail.com. That's unitysebring@gmail.com. I'm the only one who gets those emails. Now, if you're on Facebook, you're invited to join me and Adam Abbott on Sunday mornings around 10:30 a.m. on our Facebook page. There you can join us in a time of meditation and prayer. Now, if you have not liked our Facebook page yet, please do so now. The link is just right to the right of me. And select the link and you will have access to us on your own page. Now, on to the other business. Our Board of Trustees has sought Spirit's guidance once again, and Spirit's directive is still to continue to wait yet another week to reopen. With that, the center will be closed through at least July 26th. Please know the board will continue to seek Spirit's guidance each week as to what actions that they are going to take for the overall good for you and the rest of our congregation. Now, I personally ask for each of you to pray for every soul who has contracted COVID-19, the COVID-19 virus. We have someone even within our church who might have been exposed. I also have a cousin who has been exposed and he's carrying the antibodies now. I have another cousin who is in the hospital. His first test results came back as being negative for it. But at the same time, he has another test, which was taken a little bit later. So please, hold everyone you see that has contracted the COVID-19 virus in your prayers. Now, see the light of God moving in and through them now. Don't focus on the disease, focus on the answer, and God is the answer. See it moving in and through them, restoring them to wholeness. Please hold their families and friends and all of our frontline workers as well in your prayers. Just pray for them and see them having the revelation that God is with them as they sojourn forth, knowing that they are being loved and supported and are doing a great work. With the continuing rise of numbers and positive cases and deaths being reported in our area and around the state, please see everyone taking every necessary precaution to remain healthy. See people realizing that wearing a mask is an act of compassion and love and not a political statement. Let us be the ones who show the way by wearing a mask, by practicing social distancing, washing our hands, and holding the high watch, knowing that with God we can all move through this together as one, with ease and with grace. This, my friend, is how you can be a channel of God's love into this world, as your soul was intended to do as well. Until we meet again, stay well. Spread the love and joy of God within your soul and with everyone you meet. Bye for now. See you next week, right here